I totally regret this.
You know, the definition of regret is to be repentant or disappointed over something that's happened or been done, especially a loss or missed opportunity. And when you're talking about Trump, there's a palpable sense of regret in MAGA you can actually feel growing. It starts with whispers like, what did he say? What did he do? But now the whispers are quickly turning into this.
You're lying. I'm a veteran and you don't give a about me. You're taking the You don't get the fucking union to us. You don't get to take away our rights. You don't get to take our health care. Get off of me. You don't get to do this to us.
Now, the truth is, that guy's not alone. I mean, look at the crowd. There's a lot of Democrats for sure, but also former Trump supporters who are shaking their heads and wondering what we all want to know. How far does this go and how do we stop it?
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass. Are you willing to do the same? My answer is yes. Louder. Are you willing to do what it takes to fight for America?
Remember this guy, Mo Brooks? He was a MAGA congressman from Alabama. He was a big-time Trumper until he realized what every MAGA member should. Trump is about as loyal as a venomous snake, and it took him some time to realize it, and now he's not backing down.
Well, let me give a little bit of background. I know President Trump personally for a good number of years, know Thomas Massie personally for a good number of years. If we had 537 elected officials in Washington, D.C., like Thomas Massie, a lot of the challenges we face as a country would be solved. Congressman Massie is smart as a whip. He understands public policy and the cascading effects. He's honest. He's principled. And unfortunately, we've got a president who, quite frankly, in my judgment at least, is none of those things.
Here's a Wisconsin man who voted for Trump, but now, well, after his Peruvian wife was detained by ICE, these two newlyweds, Bradley Bartell and Camelia Munez, they're on their way home after honeymooning in Puerto Rico last month when they were pulled aside by an immigration agent at the airport. And here's the kicker, he voted for Trump. Now, she was in the process of applying for a green card after her original visa expired. When asked by the agent at the airport whether or not she was an American citizen, she said no, taken into custody, now being held in a private immigration facility in Louisiana. Now, this guy's thinking, wait a second, that's not what I voted for. Her green card application was ongoing. She paid all her taxes, doesn't have a criminal record, and she would not have been caught up in this crackdown had not Trump gone insane. She's been in the U.S. since 2019. She's here legally on a W-2 visa until it expired. Now she's in limbo. And do you think he regrets voting for Trump? Her story is the most common narrative of all undocumented Americans. And when Trump supporters hear the truth, you won't hear it on Fox, but they are shocked.
How much do you think undocumented immigrants pay into the system? They pay it into the system.
Okay.
So through ITN number.
It's undocumented immigrants?
Undocumented immigrants. They pay Medicare, they pay Social Security. They don't get Social Security.
Right, but they pay into it.
They pay
Honestly,
into
I wasn't aware of that.
Add to this truth that undocumented people not only commit 1/12 the number of crimes as Americans do, but they have a significant impact on our GDP, which is the way we measure our economic growth. And when you add in the mystifying tariff carousel, a recession goes from a possibility to a probability real quick. And that affects everybody, including MAGA.
What does happen when you put tariffs on goods and you stop immigration and force migrants to leave? Isn't that going to be inflationary?
Of course. course.
Is it a
That's
one-time, though, and then you
smooth
sort of
haul?
even out?
I don't know. I mean, when you see tariffs like that, obviously you think about 1929.
So let's talk about Fox News and these Doge cuts, which federal judges are knocking down like Hegseth does beers. They are equal opportunity offenders, getting the right and the left with equal idiocy. Listen to Jesse Waters and this other MAGA hump talk about the Doge cuts and how they're affecting poor Jesse Waters.
Not only were our taxpayer dollars being used to actually fund leftists, they're actually being used to aggressively fund these NGOs that were undermining this country.
I gotta stop this guy. What the fuck is he talking about? The so-called leftist governmental organizations? You mean like the NIH and CDC? We're barely through a worldwide pandemic and looking square into the eyes of a measles outbreak, bird flu, and the Doge cuts are also threatening a worldwide tuberculosis outbreak, which is the world's top infectious killer. The top infectious killer. You think MAGA knows what I just told you? And without USAID assistance, it will spread worldwide, which means here as well. So this guy is so full of shit. Now watch Jesse Waters, a Trumpian troll, cry a little bit about how the cuts are affecting his family.
Took some grants away from Johns Hopkins, where my sister works, and now my mom's upset. She's texting me. It's going to be a whole family thing.
Fuck you, dude. Look, is there abuse in government? Of course there is. But not where these mopes say. The defense budget's nearly $1 trillion, and it is so ripe with fraud and waste that if you took out just the waste for 1 year, not even the fraud, you could subsidize charter schools for a decade. And Trump voters are starting to get it.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I totally regret this.
So where is that tipping point where the regret for voting for Trump takes over and hopefully saves this country? Will it be the economic collapse that Trump seems driven to create?
We had a lot of outrage. Just like you, I thought that, well, this will be it. This will be it. But to your point, the people in the middle who actually voted for Trump, who thought, okay, maybe he's a businessman. I hear this philosophy all the time. The election was about the economy. He's a businessman. He's a millionaire, soon to be billionaire, or could be. He's going to make the right decisions. And we're seeing in real time. And I'll share a personal story. I go home last week. My grandmother is 95. She looks directly at me, and I don't know how aware she is of everything, but she is very aware. She goes, I need you to start saving your money because the way that it looks now, and she voted for Trump. She said, we are in trouble, and I made a mistake.
Grandma knows.
There is a bottom line here, and it's in the recent polling of Americans. And yes, that includes MAGA.
Et cetera, that the Democratic messaging actually has been going pretty well. So talking about they're trying to cut your health care while giving tax breaks to the rich. If you look at the latest Quinnipiac poll, there's over 50% disapproval of Trump himself, how he's handling the economy, how he's handling the federal workforce, how he's handling Ukraine and Russia, how he's handling trade with Mexico, how he's handling trade with Canada. So basically, he's underwater on everything. And a lot of that is due to the fact that Democrats are out there at town halls like Jason Crow, for instance, out of that. And we know about the Republicans having town halls and then having to run away or asking questions like, what do you think of Doge? And expecting people to say something positive, and then they're screaming.
I don't know. Maybe it's not possible to convert MAGA, or maybe it will take generations. I mean, there are 275 million Americans who did not vote for this jizz monkey. And while you may never get 275 million people to agree on one thing, they may all agree on this. There's someone shrinking my dollar and my bank account and in putting the lives of my children and my grandparents at risk. Now, do I have to tell you who that is?
Bloated and fat and disgusting.
I like that.
Goddamn right.
Crazy.
Disgusting. Go f yourself.
Oh, I like that.
You're a nasty person.
I'm as mad as hell.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donna.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.